I'm Sharif. Thank you for attending today's Cloud Talk on the Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform, previously known as the Strategic Landing Zone. This is the second session we'll be having today, the PM session. There was a morning session earlier, and like the morning session, this will be a fairly quick Cloud Talk. It'll be presented by Chris Young and Chris Small. I'll allow them to introduce themselves once they get going in a little bit. As is typically the case with these Cloud Talks, any questions you have as we go through the presentation, feel free to add them to the Q&A box or type them into chat. There will be certain moments where either Chris's will feel the need to either address the questions or we can go over them at the end. There will be plenty of time allotted for Q&As towards the end of the presentation as well. We are recording this session. The materials will be available tomorrow via the Cloud Training Portal and also WorkVivo. Links to those will be dropped in the chat towards the end of the call. With that, we're good to get started. So take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Sharif, and welcome everyone. I'll just firstly start by introducing myself. So my name is Chris Young. I'm the product owner for the Azure Cloud Platform, previously known to many of you as the Strategic Landing Zone. What I'm going to do today is I'm just going to run you guys through the overview of the product vision, give you an insight into the new Product Council governance forum that was launched earlier or in February, give you an overview of the roadmap and the dates we're sort of sticking to, and then just share some of the material that we're looking to release as part of our first cut non-production environment, sort of end of May. But firstly, what I'll do is I'll start by giving you guys a view of our product vision. So we set this program, and we've set out the vision in itself, and that vision is to build a product that translates Bupa's organizational needs, including security, compliance, cost optimization, and adaptability into technology, and supporting organizational capabilities. We're building a scalable, secure, and highly automated cloud platform that ensures Bupa's needs are baked into its foundations. This empowers all app teams and consumers of the cloud to concentrate solely on their core domains, delivering business value faster and ultimately providing a better service to our Bupa customers. So what is our product? The Azure Cloud Platform is the plumbings, the infrastructure, the processes and the methods required to give base level cloud capability for users. It will be scalable, secure, reliable, resilient, and it will offer the most effective and efficient way to build applications and innovate. Some of the key benefits that you will see, or consumers in the business will benefit from as part of the delivery of the landing zone, will be automated management and deployment of services and resources, an on-demand scalable cloud managed platform, an improved security posture, which continually governs and compliance and ensures security as well as evidences regulatory compliance. Faster adoption and onboarding to cloud for all of our new consumers and existing ones. Improved support and operating model, which we continue to work through and evolve as we head towards our overall delivery of a full cloud platform. And also cost savings as we move through cloud and away from our on-prem solutions. For day one, so when we talk about what will be delivered on day one, what we're talking about is when we deliver our core platform, our production platform, that is. This is sort of effectively what we would be delivering as part of that initial platform. Chris will share more about how you get an insight into the services that will be available as part of all of our sandbox, non-production and production environments. But I'll just give you an overview of sort of a quick view of what we expect the delivery expectations are for day one. So we will have a landing zone with a limited number of Azure services that will enable consumers to vend all environments and CI/CD pipelines through to production. The environments will have sufficient guardrails and processes in place to support the storage of confidential data, as well as connectivity to the rest of the Bupa network. Support at this stage, whilst we work through our full support model and operating model, will be on a more reasonable endeavour basis whilst we establish those functions. And as such, will be more suitable for autonomous cloud fluent teams. But that doesn't mean that we won't be obviously engaging and talking to consumers to encourage them to onboard to cloud. New Azure services will be enabled to build a greater portfolio of applications for use in the Azure cloud platform. And these accelerators capabilities will be released and aligned to the roadmap and to lower barriers to entry, and also be prioritized based on the key demand we're hearing from our consumers. So the Product Council, we launched the Product Council in February, and the objective of the actual Product Council is to actively engage in key decision points, prioritize features, stay informed about all our known issues, review the product roadmap, and assess service key performance indicators. The group aims to provide valuable insight and feedback on Azure product development teams for continuous improvement and user satisfaction. So why is the Product Council so important? It's important because it's critical that we work closely as a platform team with all of our business units and consumers to ensure we understand what we need and how we build that forward with their support. Cloud platform teams, it gives us an opportunity to effectively communicate the features and designs of our product and play back some of the great work that we've been doing to get us to delivering these platforms. It will help us to, sorry, just 1 second. It will help us to mature the product and move applications and build them towards a fully automated solution. The Product Council is in place and it has been running since February. A lot of the current Product Councils have been run, and we've played back quite a lot of the stuff that we've been going through. But we encourage more and more consumers to come on to the Product Council and come to the sessions and get involved and try to understand more about their requirements and what they're looking to do with cloud. So as we work through our roadmap journey, we are, as I said at the beginning, we're on our journey to non-production environment. At the moment, we're looking to get us to that journey and get us to a non-production environment by mid to late May. We do have some dependencies that we're working with, including in BT and other functions, but we've been working closely with a lot of teams across the estate, including EUC, networking, and the IAM team, to make sure that we've incorporated the requirements and the architecture has been walked through and signed off where necessary. Once we've delivered our non-production environment, our focus will turn to delivering a production environment. And within the production environment, we'll start to evolve on what we've built in non-prod, enhance some of the features that we've got in our non-production environment, but also start to look at things, some of the key things that are essential to any production environment, including disaster recovery, FinOps, and logging and monitoring of the applications. Alongside, and once we've delivered our platform prod environments, we will also be looking to then extend to our application accelerators. So these are going to be services that aren't part of the core platform. These will be services that will be built out separately. And as I touched on at the beginning, will be services that we will be working with to understand the key priorities and putting them and ensuring that these are in the roadmap and understanding how we together drive these forward. Just as a little bit of an overview, and I will share the wider notes. So we have produced some release notes for our non-production release, but we have had a sandbox environment that's been live since December. Our friends at Generative AI have been using the sandbox environment to great effect, and they've been really encouraged by the stuff that's been done on that environment to date. And we're working with them to hopefully take them on our journey as well as we move to non-production in the next couple of weeks. This is just an overview of some of the key applications or some of the key differences between the sandbox environment and the actual non-production environment itself. So when we talk about a sandbox environment, this is generally more of an environment that's used for proof of concept and not having sensitive data and usually and it's usually time-bound environment. Whereas a non-production subscription is a real subscription, it's a real environment where app teams can build and develop their dev test UAT environments. As you can see, most of the stuff in here does align. There are, although some of the regions we extend, should I say, sorry, to EUC as part of our non-production. DNS enablers will be custom and not Azure provided for some of our networking solutions, and route tables for firewalls, firewall UDRs will also be in place for that. A lot of the other benefits will remain the same. There is a lot more detail within the actual release note, which gives you more information about some of the network VNets, some of the subnets, and all that sort of information is within the release note, which we will share. The only caveat I would add to actually the release note is it's because we haven't yet launched our non-production environment. It is still work in progress. So some of the information within that could change between now and our launch of non-production, but it will give you a good insight into some of the great work that's been done, some of the stuff that will be readily available when we launch our non-production environment come the end of May. So I think it feels like the right point. I think it's fair to say that our whole journey is evolving. We are working at pace to try and make sure that we understand and fully on board and understand our customers' concerns. And as I said, the product council has been launched to ensure we get input from our consumers. But if anyone obviously does want to be taken through any of this in more detail, then we can sort of get some sessions lined up to give you a more in-depth overview of some of the work that we've been doing in that space. But what I'll do now is I'll hand over to Chris Small, who's going to take you guys through the service catalog and service introduction work.
Thank you, Chris. I'll just take the screen if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start with a view of our front door signpost in here. Again, we'll share links out from here so that you can all sort of keep up to date with or use this content to aid in your navigation. So sort of first step here is to reach out for some initial sort of consultation, sort of set out a brief of what a business unit may wish to achieve in utilizing the cloud platform. There's some further information here which speaks to the vision that Chris just set out around the product of the platform itself. And then where this is a good segue is it takes us into the service catalog, so you can understand what applications are available to be consumed at a given drop on the platform before making a formal request. So I'll just zoom out just a tad. Just a bit of introductory information here around the platform and the services available. So what we've got here at the moment, I'll zoom right out just to give you a sense of just how many capabilities are available with the Azure cloud platform at present. So we've got all of these capability groups, sub capabilities, and services that reside beneath them. There's an ability here to sort of toggle in to documentation pages for all of the services that are within a given release. So if we just go and take a view at the sandbox environment, we'll see as I click on that, there are fewer applications available to consume in teams within the sandbox. I think that's understandable there, but in brief, the Azure sandbox is an isolated environment. It's not connected in any way to the Bupa network, and it can be used for testing and experimentation without affecting other environments. This is with a lean towards it being time bound, so for a limited period of time, and then users can access the sandbox resources remotely via Azure Bastion. Within that, there's no enforced monitoring. However, users can create their own log analytics workspace to monitor the services. So yeah. From here as well, we can go into our current release, our upcoming release, and we'll see that more services have come online there. Yeah, again, if we were to click in, say, to Bastion here, as an example, it would take us to growing sets of documentation around each of the services, what features have been enabled, within each environment or a given release, and this will grow out with runbooks and other information as the service of the platform holistically matures. So in here, a view of our non-prod environment, and just as a summary, subscriptions in the non-prod environment could have sensitive data, which may impact other things such as inbound internet endpoints being blocked. Subscriptions under this MG had no internet-facing ingress points, so it's creating a completely private network. Additionally, all of the virtual networks appeared with both north-south and east-west hub VNets. So it's enhancing communication and security within the environment. And RBAC is used to provide only the required amount of access. Again, for non-prod, support SLAs will not be the same as they will as we sort of traverse through to that prod view. Again, to Chris's point around the roadmap, product, catalog documentation, it's really key, and we'd be really grateful to gain your feedback, figure out how we can flex some of these assets so that they more closely meet business unit needs, even from the sort of visualization perspective. But equally, as new demand is coming online, we will uplift our assets to reflect that so that they are as live as they can be. Yeah, so I think that's a kind of a fair summary of that. We'll share the links to this, and would encourage you to go and explore and see what capabilities are available, and see if you can understand maybe how your business units might make use of those, for your own needs. And please do let us know if there's any further content we can start to provide to support yourselves. Yeah, I think that's about it. Sharif, I might look to hand over to yourself from here, if that's okay.
Thank you very much, Chris. So great presentation, guys. We're just going to sort of segue into the Q&A session. As I mentioned earlier, we'll have a lot of time for Q&As here. So feel free to drop them in chat or the Q&A box. I see a hand has just gone up. So Bhavin, you can come off on mic if you want. You can unmute yourself to ask your question verbally if you're comfortable doing it. Whilst everyone's thinking of their questions, I'm just going to launch a poll that you should see pop up on your call. Please complete that. It'll help us sort of organize more cloud talks in the future that everyone wants to see. And other than that, if you have any questions, now's the time to get them in, and we can start working our way through these. So Bhavin's got his hand up.
Yes, I think the question I had, I mean, looking at the presentation just now, it comes across that we're currently just doing nothing, but it's just a platform, right? Now, do we already know that there are, I don't know, existing X systems which are definitely going to then go across to this? And if so, do we have some sort of a priority as to which will be one of the first ones to go?
So that's something that we're still going to be working through as a program, Bhavin. So we are aware of the systems and applications that are currently in use across the other platforms. But what we need to do over the coming weeks and months, shall I say, is just to understand the priority order of those applications. So which ones are most popular, which ones are our consumers using the most. At the moment, it's been very much focused on building out a core platform to have a starting block from, but there will be an exercise to allow us to understand the priorities in more detail.
Is that good, Bhavin? Okay. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, by the way, for a feedback form, if possible. Could you take a few minutes to provide some feedback on this Cloud Talk or even the previous Cloud Talk if you attended it? It would be really helpful for us, again, to understand how these Cloud Talks are going and organize them better in the future as well. But are there any other questions that we can address?
Noticed there was one in the chat from Chris Stones asking if Backstage is on the cards. To my knowledge, that so I guess you're referring to the developer portal for infrastructure, tooling, and documentation services, etc., Chris. But I don't know if that is a tool that's planned to be used in Bupa. Whether, Chris, you have any info on that?
I'm not 100% sure, but I can certainly come back to you on that one. It's not something that I've heard mentioned. That's probably the first time I've heard someone refer to Backstage, but let me do some digging and I can come back and answer that.
Yeah, I think Richard could bring light to that one.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for your question, Chris. Any more questions from anyone?
And just to, we've got a comment here, a question. Oh, thank you, Lee. Perhaps maybe if we could expand a bit more on whether or not what you've presented today will evolve going forward. You could talk to us a bit about that.
So what has been presented, yes, it will evolve as we go forward. We're very much into the build of our non-production environments at the moment. The scope of our production environments will be worked on in the next couple of weeks. Once we're past that, on the full scope and building and understanding that. I was just reading through the question on data. I know we've a lot of discussions been going on recently within the team about data. So I'll have a read through that and come back if there's any more information needed on that, Lee, but thanks for sharing that in the post.
Okay. If there are any other questions, feel free to, you don't have to put it in chat. You can come off mute if you want, or if you're comfortable saying it, or you can raise your hand, or you can drop it in the Q&A box. Either way is fine. Okay, well, I'm just going to drop into chat the links for where this recording will be posted. There'll be the WorkVivo link there on the Cloud Transformation Program page, and then also the training portal where we have Cloud Talk recordings. I think, Sharon, you posted a little bit earlier the request form for getting a Confluence license. So if anyone needs any assistance with that, you can see a bit earlier in the chat if you want access to Confluence and don't have it already. We have a question here from Chris Webb. Will the SLZ support AKS/Docker containers from the outset? So from Chris's,
sorry,
if you want to take that.
I'm actually going to refer to someone in my team who's on the call. Sangamesh, are you able to provide more clarity on Dockers? What was it, Dockers?
Yeah, as we go along, we would be adding it. AKS and Docker container support. Yes, we would be doing it a bit later in our journey.
So not from the outset.
It is again, as a priority, we are taking our product catalog, right? As per our product catalog, what currently our consumer projects are using, right? Those projects we will be building it first, and then thereafter we would be adding it up all the cloud native related resources.
It will be part of the prioritization of other services and applications. So I don't think, from what Sangamesh is saying, it will be part of the core initial platform, but it's something that we will consider as it will be part of the services that we prioritize to be incorporated as our accelerators, and as we start to build those into the application itself.
I had a follow-up question as well around how the actual hosts would be managed. Would you own the AKS platform and we just use and consume those by installing each Docker container, or would we have to own and manage the hosts ourselves, which could result in lightly used environments for a while until we've got lots and lots of apps across those container hosts? Do you get the question?
I think because we've still got to work through some of our design on some of this, Chris, it's stuff that still needs to be given some consideration and fed back in. I think as we start to build these things out, then we'll probably be able to answer that question more comprehensively for you. But yeah, it's something that we can definitely keep in the back of our minds. So when it comes to sort of building this out, then we can obviously show that these things are considered. But any input as we come to it, Chris, that you could provide would be greatly appreciated. So maybe the way to start to look at how we can reach out.
And I think if Docker and containerization is something that other people are keen on, let's set up a little group that you can get all of our requirements to satisfy rather than having to talk to each of us individually.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, I reposted the Confluence request form in the chat. In case the first link isn't working, you can use that second one. It should be fine if anyone to access. You can let me know if not, and I'll be able to reshare it and provide access to anyone. But unless there are any other questions, I think we're good to call it for today. So thank you guys for your presentation, and thank you everyone for participating and the great questions that came in as well. Once again, the links for the recordings and where they'll be stored are a bit earlier in the chat. You can have a look there as well. And also, I'll ask again if you could please take a few minutes to complete that feedback form that I posted earlier as well. It really helps us gauge sort of what the value from these cloud talks is and how we can sort of improve them going forward, and it'll be a great help going forward. So thank you all if you could do that. Outside of that, I think we're good to go. Unless anyone has any other questions, thank you all and see you all later. Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.
So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.